You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in to Watsons Playbook. I'm so glad you guys could join us this week. Me and Jeff are on the mic, and we have been teasing the last couple weeks. We've been teasing some big news, Jeff. I am excited. I think you're excited about it.
Yeah, it's some exciting news. We've been talking about this for a while.
We teased the website for the page and some different things about that. But the big news we got for you guys is we are changing the name of the podcast and the logo. And the new podcast is going to be called the Outspoken Sporcast with Brian and Jeff. And there's different reasons we went about wanting to do this. But the main reason was when people go on and search podcasts or sports podcasts or sportscasts, it'll be easier to find our show. And instead of under Watsons Playbook and you look up, when you Google that or search that, it doesn't really pop up. It's not going to be like one of the first options when someone's looking for a podcast. So that's one of the main reasons. But we like the name. We think it fits it perfectly. So we're excited to drop that, and don't worry about having to sign up or come follow us again. We're just going to change it on the platforms we are. You'll just notice a sudden little change, and then Jeff will get that website up pretty soon. And we couldn't drop the website sooner because we decided we're changing the name, which changes up obviously the way it looks and the domain name. But we're super excited about it.
Which is kind of, I mean, it's not a rebrand, so to speak, because we're not changing like the way we how we draw out the sports content or anything like that, or the way we actually do the show. Really, we just wanted to give the show, I guess, more of that sports feeling, and when people just come and are glancing at it from scrolling through different podcasts and stuff like that. So it's just really kind of just fine tuning and focusing the actual name of the show, and then everything else is going to be exactly the same. So yeah, you'll notice an update in the image. It will be different. The name obviously will be different, but you being subscribed to the podcast or you listening to the podcast, that'll all work the same way. So, and I think this will also help out with any kind of, getting the show off the ground too, and getting it distributed, to more and more people out there. I think in terms of like the algorithm that it says sports in the name, that kind of thing. And I think that overall this is going to be good. I think y'all like the logo too. I think that overall we worked on it. I've done, 4 or 5 variations of this now. So we wanted to get that done before we dropped the other content that we were talking about with the site. Right.
And because it all goes hand in hand. So we're excited about it. And so, yeah, like I said, you won't have to go on and like anything else or do anything else. It's just, you go to see it change and you're going to go, what is this? But just know it's still me and Jeff on here talking sports and things of that matter. So
social stuff, we're not sure yet. I'm going to try to see if we can just change the name I don't know if we'll be able to do that or not. We will figure that out. If that does change, not only will I have the link inside the platforms that we have already, but we'll obviously be talking about that multiple times over the next couple of episodes. So that just in case,
it should be pretty easy
if
for
you want to
like
go.
Facebook pages and stuff. And
Can you change names on there without having to recreate?
I believe so. I've been waiting.
Okay.
I've been waiting since to break this news so I could go on there and do it. I'll do that tonight after this episode.
Okay.
But and I'll let you know. We'll go from there. But it should be pretty easy on there.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Instagram and Twitter, but I should be able to change the name if I go in there and figure that out. If not, we will have to create a whole new platform social media wise, but that's okay. That's not that huge of a deal. Mostly is through Buzzsprout and
right.
So that's where we get most of our content going out through anyway. So
yeah, that's the most important content right now anyway, because this is where our library of content is at. So
that'll be easy. That'll be an easy change. We can change that up. But
all right, guys, the news is out of the way. We've been holding on that for a while. We tried to break this last weekend and had technical difficulties.
Dude, yes.
So
Riverside hasn't messed up one bit, but it did last weekend. We couldn't put out a show, but that's neither here nor there. But this show, Jeff, after breaking the big news, let's get into it. The spotlight of the week. You know, we're getting into that football season. That actually the Hall of Fame game was last night. You would think that'd be the spotlight of the week, but the spotlight of the week is not that, Jeff. It is the NBA. This is one of the craziest free agencies we've seen in a really, really long time in the NBA, and there was a lot of deals done over the last couple of days in the last week. So I just wanted to go through here and kind of give you a rundown, a little bit of what's going on in the NBA, and it's been bonkers trying to figure out all the things that have happened in such a short period of time. So that's gonna be spotlight of the week. Let's jump into it. So, of course, you know the biggest hit was Lakers traded and got Russell Westbrook from the Washington Wizards, and the Lakers essentially got rid of nobody to get him. They let go of Montrezl Harrell, KCP, and Kyle Kuzma, who they were looking forward to moving on to, as he was been a disappointment there for the money that we pay him. But so we traded, we got Russell Westbrook, and at first, Jeff, I didn't like the move. I said I don't like it. Russell Westbrook does not play well with others. He does not play a game of a type of style of basketball that it benefits the team to help win a championship. Sure, he's a good player. Sure, he's athletic. He averaged a triple-double last year, but a lot of the times it's him getting his own and not really facilitating the offense. And I didn't really like the fit. I didn't know how it was going to work. And everyone loved it around here. I'm like, I just don't see it working out. I don't think it's going to. But then, Jeff, but then I said, Lakers, we've got to add some shooting. We got to add some other players around the big three, to get the job done. And if it's just them three, I don't think we can win it all. And we added that, Jeff. We added Wayne Ellington and Malik Monk, who both shoots over 40% from the 3-point shot. We kept and was able to keep Talon Horton Tucker. We call him THT. He's a young stud. We also brought back Dwight Howard to put another big man down low, who last time we brought in, we won the championship. We also brought in Carmelo Anthony, who I didn't think had much left in the tank, but he's shot the 3-ball well there with Portland. So we brought in some guys to really help out this big three. And I really like this team. And look, when LeBron James doesn't win a championship, things change. And this team is completely different than it was last season. And I honestly, we should be odds-on favorite to win the championship next year with this roster.
Yeah, I mean, this is a win now decision. This is a win now move. Obviously, pardon my voice. I've been dealing with nasal stuff.
Corona.
No, not really. But so yeah, I mean, this is obviously a win now kind of situation. The Lakers need to be back in that situation in terms of a franchise there are certain franchises that are win or bust kind of franchises, and this is one of them. And so when they don't win or when they're not in it, they tend to make drastic moves to get back in it. So it's interesting. The age is a little bit of what's bothering some sports analysts. I know that people are talking about that. That is a question. I mean, obviously, it's hard to not bring it up when you talk about this team, because on paper, this looks insane.
Yeah.
Like you see the names and you're just like, what is this? Huh? And, and Dwight Howard, I was like, I thought he was still on the team, but I forgot he's not.
Yeah. We got rid of him last season.
So, I mean, I think this is it makes sense. You can't argue with the move.
We're definitely the favorite in the West. The Nets are going to be the favorite in the East. They added Blake Griffin. They brought back Blake Griffin back, and they added Patty Mills. Patty Mills is a guy that's a little older too, but he's still shooting the ball very well and can score and make his own shot. So it's going to be between the Lakers and Nets, and I think it all comes down to who stays the healthiest. The Lakers' biggest concern is they're going to be their age, but I think we got plenty of guys that can score off the bench, that can help out. And what Russell Westbrook brings to the Lakers, also is it's going to help out LeBron James. LeBron James doesn't have to take the ball up the court every time. He doesn't have to facilitate the offense as much. So in the games where LeBron might need to take a break, LeBron can take a break because Russell Westbrook is out there. So I think it's going to work out for us this season. And I really like this roster. The age thing is a big issue for some, but I just think it's going to be experience. It's going to give, as long as they're healthy, it's give us our best shot to win. And I don't have a way about it. And, this is kind of concerning when you look at the future of the Lakers, right? Everywhere LeBron has gone, it's a win now every year. And then after he leaves, it's kind of depleted. So that's what's going to happen here. But I think we're willing to deal with it to get a couple championships before LeBron James decides to hang it up. So
when is his contract up?
I think 2 more years, I believe. I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Yeah, because what screams to me, what this screams is this is getting to the end.
Oh yeah.
And there's no more, build for the future. LeBron's going to be playing for another X number of years. This very well may be the end for LeBron.
Yeah, he signed in 2020. He signed a 2-year extension. So 2022, end of not this year, but the end of next season. And look, he doesn't. We've seen him start to slow down. It's happening. He's been hurt more as a Laker than any other time in his whole entire career. So he's starting to slow down a little bit. Look, he's still a fantastic player. And we have a chance to win when he's on our team. So that it is what it is. I don't like him as a person or whatever, but he's on my team. He's bringing people in, and we're set up for some success this season. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see where all this goes. How long is he going to actually play?
Right. And
will he play through the contract to sign an extension? I don't know. The injury that he just got, is that going to be a problem? He's hardly ever injured, so it's just weird to see him get so banged up.
Right, and this season too is kind of a fluke in a way. It's they had a short off season; they were thrown right back into action after the COVID year.
That's true.
So I think that really, I know going into last season that was going to hurt us because we're kind of an older team. Well, we were an older team this season, but we were older with LeBron and Anthony Davis always being hurt as well. So that kind of played a little bit more into it, I think. And I think with the full off season of rest, we'll be able to bounce back and be healthier. And like I said, having these guys is going to allow LeBron and Anthony Davis to take a couple more breaks during the season, so we're not worried about hopefully injuries during the playoff time for them. But you know, a lot of players have come off and signed with the Lakers or the Nets and taking less money to do so because they want to chase a ring, right? And that's what we've seen these last couple playoffs, especially this season. This NBA free agency has been nothing but deal after deal after deal. And, you know, I don't like it. I don't like the fact that people are, I'll take, you know, league minimum just to have a chance to win a ring. I don't like it, but that's just the way it's going. And I can't do anything about it. I can't change it. When you look at the teams, like, you know, you look at Dirk Nowitzki when he won by himself, there was no super team. He beat the super team, right? The first super team. And then you got all these guys jumping ships and jumping teams, and everyone's like, well, why can't they do it like Giannis just did? Why can't they do it like Giannis? He stayed there. He took the money. He stayed in Milwaukee. He brought some people in, not superstars, and he won. Well, here's the reason why, Jeff, and I'll tell you that. If the Nets were healthy, the Milwaukee Bucks don't make the championship, period. In a discussion. If the Lakers were healthy last season, the Suns don't make it out of the first round. So you can't just expect people not to jump ship and want to join the team because, oh, well, Giannis did it. Well, what are the odds of him doing it again next year? Why hasn't it happened before this? Why is Dirk Nowitzki the last kind of championship you can look and go, okay, he did it the hard way, not the I'm going to jump over here and join Golden State after, you know, I'm going to jump over here, and then that's why. And then I don't like the fact that it's happening, but I understand it, and I'm just grateful. It's cool that it benefits my teams
Right. I mean, one of the things that's interesting, and I don't know if anyone's brought this up or not, but with all the guys that y'all added, what if Dame was an option for the Lakers as opposed to all these players?
That'd be awesome. I'd have Dame. I'd take.
Would you have picked Dame over all of them to go along with LeBron and AD? And then obviously you had other pieces.
You add much lesser pieces. You know, look, when we won the championship in 2020, we won the bubble. I didn't think it was going to work because we didn't have anybody else. It was LeBron and it was Anthony Davis, and we paid Kyle Kuzma a contract, and he never lived up to it, right? And I go, man, our bench is horrible. Look at our bench. We have nobody. I didn't think we were going to win. We won. And then next year we got better. We added the sixth man of the year, and we added the runner-up of the sixth man of the year, and Dennis Schroeder. And we added this guy and that guy. I go, man, we're even better. We're going to run it back. And you saw what happened. So, you know, this team, I think, could win it. I think even if we got rid of everybody else and just had Damian Lillard, I definitely think we could win it. But
because if you think about that, if they were able to have gotten him as opposed to the other guys, I mean, I don't know how old Damian Lillard is, but I mean, he could facilitate that transition from LeBron.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is, you know, we're hoping that after LeBron steps down, this team will obviously be Anthony Davis as long as he stays here, and I think he will, especially if they win another title, and this will be his town, and people will sign up to join Anthony Davis and the Los Angeles Lakers. So that's kind of my hope. Damian Lillard's 31, so he's still got a long time to play, and he's you know, rumor is he's not happy there in Portland. And are they going to be a championship team? Are they doing enough to get over that hump? And
how insane would that be? Is if there was a trade deal and they sent all those players to Portland and got Damian?
That'd be sweet. I would take
that
it.
Would be crazy, dude. Dude, everybody would be like, "What the?"
Yeah, you know, Damian Lillard's a great player, and I don't know if he leaves Portland. He seems to be pretty locked in there, but he's also unhappy. I did a little I don't know if you were on the episode with me. It talks a little bit about how the fan base is kind of frustrated that they hired Chauncey Billups and they were making Damian Lillard. They were calling him out and over agreeing with Chauncey Billups because of Chauncey Billups' past and everything else. And it was a big mess. I'm like, you're going to push your best player that you've ever had play for Portland out the door. So we'll see what happens. There's been trade talks about Ben Simmons and, flipping I would like to see Damian Lillard go to Philly and play with Joel Embiid and that team. That'd be awesome. But we're still gonna see what happened with him. And another crazy thing about the Lakers is we still have Dennis Schroeder, and Dennis Schroeder was the runner-up of the Sixth Man of the Year last season. And he came in, and I thought he was going to play a lot better than he did. He didn't play too well this last season, but he's wanting a big, huge contract, right? And we still have him on the team, and he's either going to have to take a veteran minimum to play with somebody or with us, or we can sign and trade him. So last rumor I saw was he's looking to be traded to Boston Celtics. So maybe we might add another player to the roster with him. So we'll see what happens there, but we still got to get rid of him. If not, and he signs back for cheap with us, we can see if that works. But some other moves, Jeff. Lonzo Ball gets paid. He gets paid. He's going to Chicago with Zach LaVine, and Chicago also pulled in DeRozan from the Spurs. So that looks like an interesting team there with Lonzo Ball, who, when we picked him up as a Laker, I wasn't a big fan of his, but he's gotten a lot better. He shoots the ball better. He plays great defense. He's a point guard. He can facilitate the offense. And DeRozan's a great player to have too. He's one of the most, other than Dame Lillard last season, he was a clutch stat they call, and he was the second best percentage shooting in clutch time. So the Bulls got better. They look to get better over the offseason moves. I like those moves to go with Zach LaVine, who is very underrated in Chicago. But what do you think about the Bulls adding those two guys?
I don't think a lot about the Bulls, but it's hard to talk about Chicago Bulls without talking about MJ because it's so hard. But it seems like it's a great move. It seems like it's going to help the team. And I mean, the Bulls haven't been relevant for a long time.
Even Derek, they had Derrick Rose and he got hurt all the time. You're like, man,
that was like a bust kind of move for them. And they were really banking a lot on Derrick Rose and that never really panned out. And he got injured a lot. And so I'd love to see the Chicago Bulls kind of rise up and be a team again, because it would be interesting to see them kind of rise up from mediocrity and do something, that would be cool.
Next, Jeff, is the Dallas Mavericks. And the Dallas Mavericks had two shooters to go with Luka, Reggie Bullock, and Sterling Brown. They both shoot over 30-something%. I think about 40% in threes as well. So they had some shooters that when Luka throws them a wide open pass, they're going to be able to knock it down. Still not a big splash player. Still not a superstar. Still not anybody coming to Dallas. I don't know, Jeff. I feel like it's just another failing offseason for the Dallas Mavericks. And I think this next season, Jason Kidd's biggest assignment, Jeff, is to figure out how to use Porzingis in the discussion. They have to figure out what Porzingis can be for them. They also bring back Tim Hardaway Jr. as well. He took a big-time pay cut. He's offered a lot of money to go to the Pelicans.
I kind of thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, he was offered a lot. He was offered about $8 million a year than he's making. But to stay with the Dallas Mavericks.
He really likes Luka.
Oh yeah,
he really likes Luka. So I had a feeling that was going to happen. He loves playing on the team. Like he just I think to him it's like, yeah, whatever. It's some extra money, but I'm having fun where I'm at. So,
and they're always in the mix. I mean, you go to the Pelicans and you don't know what's going to be there. Zion Williams is rumored to be wanting out already. So,
jeez.
Yeah, they're saying that his family's not happy and everything goes. So I don't know. They just changed head coaches, so we'll see if that suffices. But I could see Zion on the move sooner than maybe in a couple years.
He's coming to LA. He's coming to LA.
Yeah, you never know. But
what the?
you never know. But
you take two Pelican superstars,
right?
what?
Both of them.
I don't really. It's not, to me. I look at it like this. I mean, does Luka need max superstars to come in there and start just cleaning house and scoring as many points as he is? I don't think so. I look at it like if they can hold their own and to be dependable, I think that's all Luka needs. Because Luka's going to score 30, 40 points in no time in a game. And if those guys can hold their own and score 25 points or 30, I mean, that's all really anyone's asking. Because last year it was all Luka. I mean, that's really what it was. And nobody else was making shots. Tim Hardaway had his moments, and that's fine. But there wasn't any other dependable players on the team. So it was just, I think,
what
even if it's a slight dependable player, even if it's players that will still make their shots, 60, 70% of the time, I think that's all they are looking, I know they're not looking to get, they're not going to get these big stars right now, but I guarantee you if the Mavericks put pieces together like that, kind of like what they did with Dirk in that championship run, they put pieces in there that they were good, but they weren't like, it wasn't LeBron. Right? It wasn't Chris Bosh. It wasn't Kobe. It wasn't.
Yeah. And look, and I'm only putting so much effort into the Dallas Mavericks because I really like Luka Doncic and I want Mark Cuban to give him some flipping help so he can win because he's a freaking beast. And the Mavericks will be the second basketball team I watched this season. I mean, so I'm frustrated with Mark Cuban. Look, we've heard about Nico Harrison coming in, and Nico has all these people that he knows, and he's going to be able to bring the guys in. And this is like the biggest free agent offseason we've seen in forever, and they can't get nobody. There was rumors that Kyle Lowry was the guy they wanted to get. Now, I don't know why it's Kyle Lowry, because Kyle Lowry is like 37 years old, and he's going to want a lot of money. But they still couldn't even get a meeting with him. I'm like, come on, what's going on? That's not the first time that happened. They wanted what's his face? Now Nico Harrison wasn't here at the time, but they wanted Kemba Walker 2 years ago, and they're like, Kemba Walker's the guy we're going after. We're going all in on Kemba Walker, and then they couldn't even get a meeting with him. Like, oh man, that's.
I think one of the things I also mentioned is I don't think the Mavericks are going to get these players from the U.S. I just don't. I think they're gonna find pieces out in Europe. I think this team is going to be a weird team because I think that Luka. I think that, it's so weird because his team almost went to the gold. To the gold.
Yeah,
game.
They lost by 1 point.
The Olympics.
Like, oh my gosh.
And to say, think about that. Think about how important that player is on that team. For him to be able to do stuff like that. I have a feeling that a lot of people look at the Euro League and they just completely roll their eyes. And I'm like, I don't think we should be rolling our eyes at the Euro League anymore. I think people should be paying attention to them. One of them just won a championship. Luka came from the Euro League, and look what he's doing. Everyone's ignoring that side of the world, and it's just like,
here's a big issue too.
I don't think anyone
when
should.
it comes to recruiting too, and this plays into it. Luka played over there in Europe. We all know that. He didn't play AU ball with all the guys over here, with the LeBron James and his buddies, and you get to make those friendships, and then guess who wants to team up with you? I think that is a big disadvantage for the Mavericks.
Right. Luka doesn't have the LeBron name. Like, he doesn't have that U.S. brand that all these players know of, that they grew up watching. Like AD grew up watching LeBron. He doesn't have that. AD didn't grow up watching Euro basketball.
I think I think the biggest thing this year, and maybe they weren't shooting all for the fences. They brought in two good shooters. That's good.
Right.
They signed Tim Hardaway. Okay, he's decent. He's streaky, but he's a decent player.
I look at Tim Hardaway very much like a Terry, like a Jason Terry type player. Given the opportunities, he'll come up, he'll make some shots. Is he great? Is he like the best whatever? No. But is he going to give you his all when he plays? Yes.
I think this year they're telling Jason Kidd to figure out what Porzingis can be. And if it doesn't work out this season, then we'll move on from him. I think that's the biggest thing they got to figure out. But if you're looking at the standings in the Western Conference and looking at the teams, the Mavericks are still fighting, and they're still just basically the same team as last year. They're still fighting for the 6th, 7th, and 8th spot. Six.
Well, no, I definitely think the additions they add did not diminish the team or keep them stead still. I think they did improve, whether it be if it was just a slight improvement, it was an improvement. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're the same team they were last year.
They're definitely the same, Jeff. They're going to be in the 6th, 7th, and 8th seed. I can get. They're not better than the top 5 in the West with the team they have now.
Well, no, I didn't say that, but I would not say they're in the 8th. Like, I think that's a little bit much for this team.
We'll see. I don't know. I could probably name about 6 or 7 teams in the West that are better. But
we'll have to disagree on that one.
I just think they're basically going to be the same team as last year. They're going to make the playoffs. Can they beat the Clippers in the first round? And can they go to the next level? We'll see. And what they need to do, in all honesty, we all saw it, even in the Olympics. They have to get someone to take the load off of Luka. He cannot bring the ball up the court every single play.
And I will tell you right now that the 2 shooters they brought in are better than most of the shooters they had on the team last year. Personally, I mean, maybe you had your fair share of like guys that would break out and whatever, but it seems like these 2 guys are a little bit more reliable and dependable than what you had last year. And if that's the case, then
I'm talking
that's
about bringing
good.
the ball up. I'm talking about taking some heat off of him in the first half, where if you look at his even just in the playoffs alone of what Luka does shooting wise, his shooting goes down in the 3rd and 4th quarter because he has to do it all. He has to bring the ball up. He has to make the offense go because other players.
But you're talking about a 6th man. You're talking about a 6th man that can come in and help when Luka's on the bench.
No, I'm talking about a guy that while Luka's on the court can take the ball up and facilitate the offense, where Luka can run off the ball and play off the ball. Luka is running the offense every time down. He's the one with the ball in his hands, which is good. But
Doesn't LeBron do
the
that?
4th quarter, no, not every time, but come the 4th quarter, Jeff, he runs out of gas and he's looking to pass the ball, and he doesn't score as much in the 4th quarter as he does in the first quarter. And they've got to find a guy that could take some of that pressure, some of that off of him. So in the 4th quarter, he's scoring more points and give you a better chance to win instead of him having to do everything every single time down the court.
Right. I mean, I think it's the only part about that. Some of that is the unfortunate part is that, LeBron is still in the league. Not to sit there and say that, oh no, that's the reason why, but it obviously, I mean, some of it is, if you think about it. I mean, who in their right mind would take all those pay cuts to go to a team that couldn't afford to pay them any max contracts whatsoever to go play with LeBron in LA for a year? You know what I mean? Or 2 years, or however many, maybe more than likely 2 years. No more than 2. no less than one. And I completely ransacked some of the free agent market, which is a little crazy. But unfortunately, there's stuff like that going on in the league right now still. LeBron's still in the league. He's still playing, and that's going to cause rift in terms of free agency. And the same thing is going to happen with Durant. You know, you're going to have moments where they're going to sit there and just, you know, if he's still with the Nets, they're going to ransack the free agent market.
Oh yeah, and this is what we talked about. What I talked about a while ago is there's nothing we
so
can
how
do
can
about it.
how can teams that are in you know teams compete with stuff like that? And I think that's a little ridiculous, but I think it's cheap. I think that when players do that kind of thing, it's like, you know, that's why I applaud Chris Paul for staying where he stayed. I do. Chris Paul could have easily been like, oh, I'm going to go to LA. It's time. I'm going to go to the Nets. Why not? I don't even care if I'm on the bench. Like but he decided to stay, which I thought was good.
Oh yeah, I thought it was good too.
You know?
He stayed there, and that's one of our next bullet points. Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, Chris Paul, and Conley all stay put in their teams. I think Chris Paul, what he did last season for the Suns was awesome, amazing. Can they run it back? I don't think so, but I'm glad he stayed there. We're going to find out. And Conley is a guy that plays the Utah Jazz, and their team always chokes, and I'm not really too worried about him. The Golden State Warriors will be back on course this year, and I think they'll be, as long as what's his face healthy. What's his face? Jeff, why am I drawing a blank on his face? Do you know his name?
The guy with that face.
He got hurt 2 years in a row. We haven't seen him in 2 seasons. That's probably why I'm drawing a blank. Speaking of Jimmy Butler, the Heat got better. They added Kyle Lowry to go with Butler, and they signed Oladipo as well back, and they go with Adebayo, and they also took PJ Tucker from the Bucks. So that team looks pretty good on paper. We'll see. Oladipo is going to miss, I think, half the season with injury. But when he comes back, we'll see what he can add. And if Kyle Lowry still got something in there, I think that could be a dangerous team in the East.
Just like with Jerry Jones, Pat Riley is looking to get one more before he
or retires.
Yeah, pretty much. Before he goes down for the long sleep.
Oh man,
you know.
Anyways, the Knicks bring back Derrick Rose and add Kemba Walker to that roster, and the Knicks played really good last season for the Knicks, and we'll see what happens. Kemba Walker's always injured. He's not as great as he used to be. Derrick Rose has been better, even though he's older. But I don't know. The Knicks are maybe a playoff team next season, but we'll see. It's in the East, and I think when we look at all these signings and all this stuff, I think the Eastern Conference has gotten more better. The Bulls and the Heat, the Knicks got a little bit better, and the Nets are going to stay great, and they added a couple players as well. So I think to go along with it, that the East has gotten pretty strong. You know, the Western Conference is still the strongest, and they always run it. But we'll see this season. We'll see next year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And then I want to add. I didn't see anything on here for this. I just want to add this too. I didn't see it in the notes at all. But I will want to add. The rumor is that the Mavericks are gonna sign Luka to a Supermax extension. That's the rumor that I think. I want to say Dirk is going to be somehow a part of the announcement for that or something like that. But they were waiting for him for the Olympics to be over.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
I mean that's
coming. And then also, but I mean, for it to be a Supermax extension is kind of insane. But the other side of that too is that even though he decided to opt out. I'm blanking on the name real quick. From the Clippers.
Oh, Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, he's opting out to sign.
Kawhi Leonard decided to resign, and I'm like,
he opted out to get more money, and he's going to be hurt. They're talking about him missing a lot of the next season as well. So, that injury is a little bit worse than I guess they were letting on. I don't know.
That sounds like a bad deal, then, dude. Oh, like if he's injured and it's an ACL with a surgery.
Yeah, the Clippers aren't going to start off very good. They'll be decent, but
ACL injuries are bad.
But he's staying where he is for now. Maybe that changes.
That's it. How long was that contract for? I don't know what it was. I don't know.
It hasn't been official yet. They just said he's
okay.
He's opted out. He's agreed to do it. He's more than likely going to sign back with the Clippers. I don't think the deal is complete. But yeah,
if it's a long deal, that's bad. I don't think I just look at that as bad because I'm like, I don't know. He's such a weird player, man. He's so mysterious and odd. Like, he doesn't say a lot. He doesn't say anything at all, really. Like, it's just kind of very quiet, very, just an odd player. I remember people were talking about him coming to Dallas, and I'm like, I don't know. He just seems like a very, just, I don't know if I want to be here. I might go over here. I'll just sign a 2-year deal. And then maybe I'll sign a re-sign, but I don't know. It's just this, I don't know. Gosh, dude. He's a strange player, man.
Yeah, he's strange, but he's really, really good.
He's good, but it's just like, talk about anxiety. As a fan, it's like, is he going to come back? I don't know.
All right.
Okay, well, that's, okay. He went from the Spurs to Toronto, won a championship, then left Toronto, went to the Clippers. Then the way he acted during the playoffs was like, is he even going to come back? It's just odd. It's so weird.
Very weird.
He's
character.
a strange. Yeah, he is a character for sure.
I had no problem with Kawhi Leonard until he went to the Clippers. And I'm not saying that just because he went to the Clippers, but he kind of screwed the Lakers, and not just because we didn't get him, but he had meetings to go to LA to visit with the Lakers, and he kept changing the times up and leading us on to behind the scenes. He was meeting with Paul George to see if they wanted to meet up and go to the Clippers this whole time, and he didn't take the meeting seriously, and it was it really made me angry, and I'm like, okay, you can go to the Clippers, and you can fail there and lose there, and that's what they'll do, because that's what they do is they lose. All right, they can finally get out of their building. By the way, they're finally getting their own building.
Yeah, that's probably good. But I those two things popped up. I didn't see it on the notes, but I was out running errands today and I saw one on my phone, and then, so that just popped out to me.
All right, Jeff, that is the spotlight of the week. The headlines. Wow, Jeff. So football is here. There won't be another Sunday without football until February, which is fantastic. For the Hall of Fame game. The Hall of Fame game was last night. Steelers and Cowboys. No one cares. It's preseason. Yada yada yada. Yawn. Boring, right?
I know. My dad asked me. He was like, "You watch the Hall of Fame game?" I'm like, "For what?"
To see Ben DiNucci and the third string quarterback play. I'm good. To me, preseason is just okay. Football's right around almost here. So that's all that means. So. But, Jeff, what a horrible start for the Indianapolis Colts. They started off with some bad luck as Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson with the same foot injury. They had the same foot injury. They both will undergo surgery and miss 5 to 12 weeks. I hate to see injuries for any team. Injuries suck. It doesn't matter who it is. But, I was wondering if Wentz could get his second chance, his second shot at being better for his career and all that good stuff. But it looks like it's going to be on hold until he gets back. What? Ugh.
Guys, Colts fans, prepare yourself, okay? And I'm just going to say this now.
You think what I'm thinking?
Carson Wentz is out and done.
Oh, no. Done.
He's done. He's done.
Done.
Okay? No, I'm kidding.
He might be. He might just be
it doesn't
a bad
look
player,
good.
But
Yeah, and if he's injury prone, I mean, come on, guys, this is going to be short-lived stint, obviously, and probably a short-lived career. Talk about a very odd career at this point for Carson Wentz.
Very odd.
Started off hot, got hurt,
Had been the same.
never been the same
Well,
since.
Jeff, here's kind of a funny thing. Think about Carson Wentz, like you said, started off good, got hurt. Nick Foles takes his job. They win the Super Bowl. He takes his job from him, literally. Now Carson Wentz gets traded over, and he gets hurt. And there's rumors that Indianapolis might go sign Nick Foles, who is the third-string quarterback for the Chicago Bears. I'm like, could you imagine if Nick Foles comes in here and takes his job again?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh. That would be fantastic. It would just for the drama of it. That would be hilarious. But
It's just bad. It's going to be a bad season, Colt fans. I mean,
Colts
I don't know.
fans are
It's going to
begging
be...
and praying that Andrew Luck walks back through that door.
Oh, my gosh, dude.
Wow.
And I mean, it's just like, I think at this point, just try to, I don't know. I don't think that the quarterback market next draft is any good. So maybe it's not going to be very good. Maybe it'll be good.
It's not rumored to be that good.
Yeah. So tanking isn't going to really help. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, you're going to have to just wait until, hopefully it's just the 5 weeks. I think if it's the 5 weeks, maybe
you'll be able to squeeze
will be
out
okay.
a wild card somewhere.
Yeah, I think, I mean, even if during the 5 weeks you went maybe, 2-3, you're still okay, I think. I mean, if you blatantly just go 0-5, you're pretty much done. I don't really see much coming out of that. And then again, if he comes back, you got to also take into consideration this dude has not been playing for quite some time. So there's going to be some rust there as well. And then obviously he's going to be very guarded because he's had an injury. So hopefully, you're not going up against any top defenses because that's going to be scary. So yeah, I mean, this sucks for them, dude, for sure.
One thing I didn't put in here too, before we move on to a different sport, is rumors are floating, and I know it's just camp, but Joe Burrow from Cincinnati's not doing too good. They say that throws he made last season and made look easy are falling to the floor. He's not making the throws that he is, because Joe Burrow broke his leg in half last year, as we all remember that. But that's when players get close to his leg, if he has the yips with it, he's getting out of the way, and I think it's all kind of mental for him to get back into it.
I think so.
And I mean, I get it. I understand it. Joe Burrow is one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch play college football, so I was really hoping he'd come out, and he looked good last season, but after that injury, it might take him some time to get back mentally to being, tackled and hit and everything else. So we'll see what happens. But
yeah, I think it's definitely mental with Joe Burrow. And I think that, just get that first, and even if you got to do it in preseason, just get that first hit out of the way. Just because you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit. You are at some point. You're not going to go the rest of your career and not get touched. So as long as if he could get that one, that happened with Peyton Manning too. Everybody thought that when he first came to Denver after that injury and being out for so long, and the Colts completely gave up on him. And that he said after that first hit, I knew I was okay.
Right. And
So,
the organization made a questionable draft pick. They could have drafted what is going to be one of the all-time offensive linemen in the league. They already say he went to the Detroit, but they already saying that he is everything that he was promised to be to protect Joe Burrow. But they picked the wide receiver. Now the wide receiver is very good. He was really good in college, and so they wanted the offensive firepower. But they're kind of questioning, like, your quarterback just got his leg snapped in half. He needs better protection up front, and you chose a wide receiver over a all-time, probably future Hall of Famer lineman. That's how good this guy is, and so. We'll see what happens from that aspect of it, but I hope he gets it back mentally, because he has potential to be really good and be able to turn that franchise around to be in a competitive.
I wouldn't worry too much if I had any sense of any fans listening or whatever. I wouldn't worry too much. I would just not yet. I don't think it's time to sound the alarms and run around like an insane person.
You take the camp news with a grain of salt, good or bad. So
yeah, I do. And especially it's his second year. He did come off a very odd injury. I just don't think that it's time to freak out. He's still pretty young. Let him just get back into the rhythm. And again, it's not like y'all were expecting to go to the Super Bowl. Like, let this guy just come back, take his time. He's going to be on that team for a long time. This isn't Dak Prescott. Okay. His injury, him coming back, I think is a little bit more. You got to be on it right when you start, kind of thing, as opposed to Joe Burrow, which is like, you got time, man. You can be in this league for a very long time. Like, you just take your time. Take your time.
Speaking of Dak Prescott injury, Jeff, that's another one that popped up throughout the week that's not on here. His shoulder injury. And he's saying it's just tightness and it's just sore, and he's just kind of overworked from not throwing the ball while he's trying to recover his foot. And the coach McCarthy says he'll be out 2 days. Well, it's been 10 days and he still hasn't thrown a football. Troy Aikman last night said that he thinks the shoulder injury is a lot worse than we're thinking. So who knows? But Jake Glazier says the Cowboys 100% expect him to play game 1 of the year. So we'll see what happens and kind of monitor that as it goes.
I'll tell you that one. That's the one that should worry people the most. If he comes back and he's different, that's worrisome. I don't think he will, but that's their bread and butter. That's their money meal ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it really is.
Now,
and without Dak, this team is
without
junk.
Dak, there's no shot. Without Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers are done. Without, you take away a star quarterback.
But I mean, like, they don't have a defense.
Yeah,
they don't have nothing.
Well,
they have their running back.
Well, yeah,
but
okay. We'll see.
mean, that's it.
That all depends on the offensive line. But
true.
We're actually next week or the week after, Jeff, pretty soon, we're going to break down the NFL. We're going to give our predictions on who's going to win divisions, and we're going to go through all that. So we'll save all that kind of for next week. Probably do that next week or the week after. But, Jeff, Major League Baseball trade deadline was insane. It was actually the biggest trade deadline as far as how many moves were made in MLB history. So I got some winners and I got some losers of the MLB trade from what I've read in articles, and I tend to agree with what they're saying. So my number one winner of this was the Dodgers. The Dodgers added right-handed pitcher Max Scherzer, and they also added shortstop Trey Turner. Now, that's huge for the Dodgers as they've kind of underachieved this season, and then the Giants are kind of running away with that division, and the Dodgers are trying to catch up, and we all know they're missing Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer is one of their best pitchers after, his incident with him beating a woman.
Clayton Kershaw's was supposed to be coming back.
Yeah, Clayton Kershaw coming back from injury, but Trevor Bauer will be gone for who knows how long. They've actually just extended his suspension through August 14th, so we don't know. There's rumors that the Dodgers organization and players don't want him there anymore, so he might not even be there. But to go in there and go on the offseason and add not only Max Scherzer, who takes over Trevor Bauer, but you add a good shortstop in Trey Turner, who's fast, can hit the ball really well and give you a good defense as well. So they added some good firepower there with in LA, and I think that was a big splash deal of this this trade deadline. And then the other winner, Jeff, was the New York Yankees. Okay, so they come in, they add Joey Gallo, and they needed a left-handed bat because a lot of their lineup is all right-handed hitters, and they added a power hitter in Joey Gallo. They also added a guy from the Cubs. What's his name? Rizzo? Was it Rizzo?
Yeah. He came from the Cubs. He was part of the championship
and he's
team.
he's a little older, but he also has a big bat too. Joey Gallo is the better hitter of the two, but you added two left-handed hitters in that lineup to help you guys fight for that playoff spot, I believe, because I don't know if you can still win the division or not. Boston's run away though with that, which has been surprising.
Well, Boston's been losing. They lost the last 6 games.
Have they? Coming out of the
they are actually Boston is now out of first place, and Tampa took up first place.
See, Tampa always goes in there, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, I forget Tampa's good,
but they've been struggling too. It's the weirdest thing. Like Tampa Bay's been struggling as well, so it's just like this mix mash of whatever, and it's so odd because like I don't know, the division's a weird one, man. Like it could easily flip back. And Boston goes back up, or it could flip back down, and then they both start failing. The Yankees start winning games, which they've been doing. I think they won 8 of the last 12.
Joey Gallo won you the game the other night with a 3-run home run first in Yankees. As Yankee.
So I watched that home run, and that was the craziest looking home run I've ever seen in my life. This dude's launch angle was 45 degrees. It was like this weird straight down arc that was just like not really an arc. It's like the hang time. The ball had a hang time on it.
Dude, I didn't think that. I thought the ball was a pop up.
That's what I thought.
I saw the play, and I was like,
man.
he popped it up, and it kept going and going and going, and then the guys at the wall was like, oh my gosh. So he won the game for the other night. Which was good. We got a little bit of the elephant off his back. Yeah.
He did get the home run, and he hadn't got a home run yet, and Rizzo was running away with it for a while. He was hitting home runs left and right since we picked him up. So,
dude.
But one of the things that people don't pay attention to is why this is important for the Yankees is defense.
Dude.
Rizzo is an amazing first baseman. This dude is sick. He reminds me of Mark Teixeira in terms of his defense. The dude is ridiculous. Just able to snag balls on the ground. No big deal. You could throw a ball anywhere. That guy will somehow get it. And then the same thing goes for Gallo.
He's got a cannon,
defense,
bro. Cannon,
defense, and then on base percentage is another thing that the Yankees really pay attention to. So these two guys, not only are they left-handed bats in that short porch, but they also have defense and they also have on base percentage. They don't strike out a lot. That's the whole point.
Joey Gallo, he does strike out a little bit more, but he draws a lot of walks. And when he hits the ball,
yes.
Last year he had more home runs than he had singles, which is it's like, what? How does that even happen? So yeah, no, I'll miss him here in Texas, and but we needed to trade him, and I'm perfectly fine trading him. We got some decent pieces back for him. We traded other players as well to get some, and we're on a complete rebuild. So, but
it does. I think Gallo's under contract for another year after this year, and
I'm interested to see if he signs. He doesn't like the spotlight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
What holes it?
He liked it. They gave him as soon as he hit that home run. That fluctuates, man. Usually it's Gallo, Judge.
Well, I mean, is he like 5'6", 3'4"? Where
in terms of, so usually it's like it'll start with LeMahieu, and then so he's first, and I would say maybe fourth or fifth,
okay,
behind
because
Judge. I think they split Judge and Stanton.
I was interested to see.
And I think he's in between
because yeah, he doesn't like spotlight. He didn't want to bat third or fourth for us because he didn't want that pressure. So we always, even though he was our best hitter,
Rizzo's taking
we
that
always
spot.
put him
Rizzo's
in
second.
the fourth or fifth hole, or the fifth or sixth hole because he didn't want. So
Right.
it's kind of weird and interesting. But
He's falling into that. He's falling into that kind of thing because it's splitting Judge and Stanton up.
which Judge and then Joey and then Stanton, that's insane.
Yeah. So it's just he's get that both Rizzo and Gallo have given him a shot into this offense a little bit, and I think that's exactly what they need. Because now that you have these two lefties that can hit, this will give more opportunity looks for Judge, for Sanchez, for Stanton, for all these other guys that are in because now they can't just rely on, oh well, we can attack them with the attack all the lefties and not have to worry about anything. Now they do have to worry about it, or they attack all the righties.
Yeah,
so it's just
hard to find someone to pitch around. You're like, oh, I'm going to pitch around this guy to get to this guy. Well, damn, that guy's Joey Gallo,
Right.
or so.
And it's crazy because the Yankees were also getting during, because we've been having a lot of COVID issues. So like Judge got it and have missed a while. Just Gary Sanchez got it yesterday. So he's going to be out for like a week. But when we brought on some of these low name, no name guys from AAA, they were producing, dude, and they were freaking crazy, stealing bases. I mean, nuts. And I'm like, what? And so you see some of them go back down. I'm like, why would you bring them down? Like, so I mean, some of the, not only that, but some of these young guys that we haven't even talked about, and they're not even our top guys, that people have been hearing for years. It's weird to see some of them go back down to AAA. I'm like, oh my God, like these guys are pretty good. So, yeah, I think Gallo, if there's anyone out of the two, maybe to re-sign, because it's interesting because Gallo did get a curtain call after that home run. And he came out and agreed to it. The fans embraced Gallo. That was pretty cool. And I think honestly, I can see Rizzo. He seems more of a New York guy. He seems more of, he's got that New York swagger to him. Not to say that Gallo doesn't, but Rizzo is just, he looks like, I don't know. It just reminds me of an old school Yankee player from the 90s, dude. He has that look to him, that finesse. And I'd love to keep both of them, but if I had to pick one of maybe who would sign more, I would say Rizzo.
I think, yeah, it's your preference, definitely. I mean, if you're looking at it from a team and organization, you'd want to sign Gallo because he's a lot younger than Rizzo. But I don't think Gallo is a New York guy, which is weird to say because, like I said, he doesn't like the spotlight. He doesn't like that. But the New York Yankees was his favorite team growing up, so maybe he does sign there long term. And I'm really frustrated with the Rangers. I'm not surprised by any freaking means. So after he left, after we traded him to the Yankees, which I'm fine with us trading him, right? I'm fine with the rebuild. We need to do it. We've traded. They finally actually traded away everybody. We traded Joey Gallo. We traded our closer, who was really good, and we traded away our best starting pitcher. That's how you rebuild. You trade him, you get prospects, and you hope the team in a couple of years is there. But there was a rumor after we traded him because Joey Gallo wanted to stay in Texas. I mean, he told us that. And there was a rumor, Jeff, that the Rangers had offered Joey Gallo a big contract and he turned it down. I'm like, well, dude, how are you going to tell us you want to stay here, but you're going to turn down a huge contract? Well, Jeff, and I go, they've lowballed the hell out of him. I guarantee you they did. Well, guess what the contract was, Jeff?
What?
They offered him a 5-year, $84 million contract. And I said, are you freaking kidding me? Joey's agent is Scott Boras, who gets the biggest contracts.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah. He is the guy who gets the biggest contracts for all his clients. That's who he is. And I already knew going into it, we're getting rid of Joey. We're not going to be able to afford him. Okay. Well, his agent said, look, I didn't put any pressure on the Rangers. I didn't tell them it has to be this. But after they sent us this contract offer, we sent back one question. We didn't even send back a rebuttal. It was just a question. And it was this. Where do you see Joey Gallo versus Rendon and Elvis Andrus? Because they offered Rendon a $200 million contract 2 years ago. They offered Elvis Andrus a $165 million contract, which he took. But you're going to offer Joey Gallo you're not even going to offer him $100 million. You offered him 84, and you think that's going to be enough to get the job done? Like, why even offer a contract? It's just laughable, and it's a slap in the face to Joey Gallo, and it's a slap in the face to your fans. And the narrative of pitting this report out that, we offered him a big contract, but he turned it down. Well, no, you didn't. You offered him a laughable deal, and he turned it down. So
that's crazy.
That's the Rangers for you. Anyways, Jeff, I have two losers in this offseason for you. There's probably more than that, but the San Diego Padres, Jeff, are losers in this free agency. Before Max Scherzer went to the Dodgers, there was big rumors that he's going to San Diego. It's almost done, and they let Max Scherzer slip away to the competitors, who's also fighting them to go to the championship. So I think that's a big loss for them, and they didn't really add much to the roster to try to be more competitive. So I think that's a big loss. And another team that I took away from this in reading all these articles is the Rockies. And the Rockies, sure, they're not a good team, but they didn't trade anybody. They didn't try to.
Trevor Story was the big.
Trevor Story was disappointed that he didn't get traded to a contender. Why there was no phone calls? What's going on? And he doesn't want.
And it really frustrates me because the Yankees were tied to him for a while.
Yeah.
And I think, ultimately they got Rizzo, but I think they were really wanting to get Story. And if the Rockies weren't willing to give him up, the Yankees got the next best option.
Yeah. So that was interesting. They decided not to sell and not to get rid of Trevor Story while he still has some value. So I think that's a big miss for them. And that's something that the Rangers used to do all the time is they didn't want to trade anybody. I'm like, you've got to trade these guys. You're not, you're not in a win now mode. You're not in a win now. And he's a win now player. So I think they missed a good opportunity to trade him away and get something back for him. But
I think ultimately the Rockies, from what I hear around here, is fans are just like they're an organization that fans just get frustrated with. They'll have players, they'll do that are good, and they either do nothing with them or they get rid of them. And that's, I getting rid of them. But it seems like in terms of ownership, a lot of the fans are just like this ownership sucks, and I'd rather have new ownership come in and do something because it seems like this team never can never just like bounce back, I guess, or try to be relevant again in some way. I know they used to be kind of good back in the 90s, but they haven't been the same since. And, they have a beautiful park and fans that will come see the games. So it's just like, I don't know, figure something out. Get this franchise back on track because whoever is managing this right now is a joke.
Yes. And, welcome into being a Texas Ranger fan. You have an ownership, ownership group who doesn't want to spend money. That has plenty of money. They have money. They just bought a brand new stadium. Half the people of Arlington are paying for the other half. So they have money. They don't spend it. They're not invested in. They're not invested into the team. It's like, just sell it already, dadgummit, and give us somebody that wants to spend money on it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that is worrying me about this whole problem with the Broncos, and the ownership going on. Who's going to own it? I mean, there were talks that it was going to be Jeff Bezos, and I'm like, I don't really want Jeff Bezos to own this team.
That'd be a little weird.
Because he's not going to really care. You know, I don't want some dude that's just like, it's a toy.
Right.
You know, because it's like, okay, well, then you're not going to do anything then. You're not going to give a crap. You're not going to, you know, the team could be on fire and you're just be like, okay, you know, it doesn't matter to you. And I want somebody to own a team that's going to, and the Rocky fans deserve that. And the same with Denver Bronco fans, whatever happens with the ownership. I wish the ownership would stay with the Bolin family, but it seems like it's not going to. And if that's the case, I would rather have an owner in there that's actually wanting to run a team. I will say that I was surprised about Ballmer with the Clippers. He's run the team pretty well. I mean, you can't argue with him. I mean, he's done a pretty decent job. He didn't have to. The guy's a billionaire. And he could just, it's a toy. I don't really care. I own it.
Yeah. But they're the Clippers. They'll always lose, Jeff. So, you know.
Well, I know, but I mean, he's done,
he's done a fantastic job there.
He's put a team together. So it's just kind of like, I wish the Rockies could do that, as well as, you know, obviously the Broncos. Cause it's just, I get real heated about the whole ownership of the Broncos. Cause I don't know what the hell is going to happen.
Well, at least you have an owner, Jeff. I wish Green Bay had an owner because I think it would help out and solve some issues, but we don't. We have stockholders and all that crap. Anyways, one thing we forgot to bring up, and it's NFL related, and it's interesting. Very interesting. Reports and rumors are that the Eagles and the Houston Texans are talking on a deal to trade Deshaun Watson over to the Eagles. And that's interesting for hundreds of billions of different reasons. One is he going to play this season? How much are they going to ask for him? Can they ask a king's ransom for a guy who's going to be suspended probably for a season? But if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, I make that trade right away. I get the job. I get it done. You don't have a quarterback. That would change your team a lot. Now, even if he misses a season, he's only 25. So he's still young. If he misses 1 year, you use this year. And if you're bad, you get a better draft pick. Plus, the star wide receiver you just drafted is hurt. So he's got to miss a couple games. I would like to see Deshaun Watson go to the Eagles, even though he's still got a lot to do to get a team around him. But that ultimately makes him the best quarterback in the NFC East. And that makes the Eagles not the last place team in the East. So I would like to see it happen.
No, because it's Dak. It's not gonna be. What are you talking about, Brian? He's not gonna be the best quarterback.
Deshaun Watson's better than Dak Prescott. In a discussion. No. In a discussion.
Oh, gosh. I hope no Cowboy fans are listening to this podcast right now because they're going to be pulling their hair out.
It's close. I talked to my buddy Ryan. I texted him that. I said, hey, if Deshaun goes to the Eagles, that makes Dak the second best quarterback in your division. And he goes, well, I got Dak over Watson, but barely. He says he puts him in the same kind of tier. And I get that. I told him Deshaun Watson's better, barely. But Deshaun Watson, to me, is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
Well, you're just going to say that because you're also a Watson. Okay.
Right. No,
the Watsons stick together. Look, I get it. I see.
I would like to see him go somewhere and actually be able to play. It's all going to depend on what happens with the whole case and the NFL. I'm tired of the NFL not stepping up and doing something, because the sooner they do something, the sooner they say, okay, you're suspended, the sooner this will all be over, as far as leaving him in the lingo of, is he going to play this year? Is he not going to play this year? Are we waiting for this to go to court? what in the heck are we waiting on? It's got to be frustrating in Watson's camp. It's probably frustrating in Houston. I don't know. So,
yeah, well, that's not good news for Cowboy fans. That's gonna.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not good news for the Cowboys. But
because now they'd have to deal with the Eagles and the Redskins.
Yeah. Well, the Redskins defense.
Well, they're not they're not the Redskins.
Whatever.
Dang it.
The Washington football team. The Cleveland Guardians, whatever you want to call them. All right. But,
anyway, besides the point, they have to worry about both those teams now if that happens. Because I'm telling you right now, don't sleep on Washington. That defense is legit. It is a legit defense.
Well, let's not get into that because we're going to save that for another time and our breakdown.
I'm getting too excited, Brian. Football season is upon us.
Football is coming back. Aaron Rodgers is playing for Green Bay. The article came out today that says Green Bay agrees to trade him, which we kind of already figured that. So, we'll see what happens with that at the end of the season. So, but and let me tell you this to all you Packer fans out there listening. I don't know if there's any Packer fans listening, but you better watch this season and hold on to it for as long as you can, because after the season, we're screwed. Done. And you know why I say that, Jeff? Not only will Aaron Rodgers not be here, but we're already in such cap hell, as they would say. We're in such bad money shape, Jeff. It's not even funny. We're going to have to let go of a lot of guys that we would want to keep. So I'm just saying it's going to get a lot darker in Green Bay after this season, unless we win a Super Bowl and Aaron Rodgers stays. But it's going to be bad, Jeff. We're already like 30-something million over the cap for next year. And we've got to sign Devontae Adams, and we've got to sign Jair Alexander, the best cornerback in the league. Yeah, there's a lot, Jeff, and it's a scary row for the Green Bay Packers fans. And after this year,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. For sure, it's gonna be a nail biter, guys.
All right, Jeff, it's about that time I ask you. What's in your locker?
Well. Some good stuff and some bad stuff, but good stuff. I do have finally MLB The Show.
Dude, thank you.
And we got to link our accounts up. Dang it, Brian. So I have MLB The Show. I also got. They had a sale. Oh, Joey Gallo just struck out. They had a sale. Dang it. We were talking about how he doesn't do that. He
strikes out more than I imagine.
Well,
it's okay.
But yeah, I mean, so, there was also a sale on, I think it was half price. And it was Hitman 3.
Nice.
So I did get that because I scooped that up. I think it was $29 and I traded some stuff in and I got so I got all that basically for free. And then, so I've been playing a little bit of the show. I haven't played Hitman 3 yet. And there's a couple things that have been bothering me. Now this is going to be, I know if anybody's listening, I know this is sports. I get it. I'm going to get into some video game stuff. And particularly Last of Us, especially the TV show. So there was this account on Twitter and he was like, those sets look like garbage because there's pictures of the sets and you could tell it's in the very first game and it's downtown Boston. And so it was kind of like people were dogging on the way the sets look. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm like, first of all, you're talking about it's unedited. It's unedited. It's not even, it's all raw. It's just a random photograph of the set. You're not even looking at it from the actual like video lens, And so it's just like, okay. So there was that. And then also people, I don't know if you saw any of this. I kept seeing this stuff pop up. People are complaining about how to add more storage to your PS5. It is absolutely nuts. You know, it's kind of like, have you ever seen those infomercials where it's like, are you having a hard time opening a drawer and somebody can't open it and they pull it out too far and everything falls down? It's all like madness, right? That's exactly what reminds me of these people are like, you mean I have to take the thing off? Take the front thing off and unscrew something? Yeah, you do. It's like people just are like, that's a little too much. Why can't it just be like Xbox where you plug it in and that's it? And I'm like, okay, but that's proprietary, which means whatever Xbox sets those prices at, that's how much they are. They'll never come down. They'll always stay at that price. And price-wise is the same right now. But with PlayStation, they're allowing people to go out and buy which ones from different brands. The price will come down more and more and more. They'll never be the same price because they're not locked in. So these people are like, I don't know how to do this. And I'm like, it's you unscrew one screw, you pop it in, and you can get a heat sink with it or not. Chances are you probably want a heat sink with it. It's really not that crazy. I mean, it's unscrewing something, popping it in, screwing a panel back on, popping the little plastic piece on this console itself.
It's called YouTube, guys. That's,
It's also called you can work a screwdriver. I mean, come on now. We're not. I think we've gotten past the whole cave days, guys. We've gotten past that. We're not working with rock tools. So it's just like, it's just mind boggling to me. That's what's been in my locker. It's just been, I watched all the internet just act nuts over that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, it's really not that crazy. Plus what's cool about it is when you add storage to your, you don't even need to get like a full new terabyte. Like it'll say if you got a 500 gig, it goes on top of the storage that's already on there.
Nice.
So the storage on the PS5 is at 700 and something gigs. That's the amount of data you can have for games. And then if you add another 5, that's over a terabyte. Like that is plenty of storage, and that's not a lot. I mean, I think like it's like $140, I think, for that speed, and basically the equivalent SSD that's in it already. And that price is going to come down. These just came out. So, I mean, give it a year and they'll be less than $100, and versus Microsoft, which is, I want to take a terabyte's $250 or something like that. Or it's like $190 something. 2 terabytes, like almost 300. Those prices will never come down. And you can't shop around either. Like, it's not like you can't go find other brands. Like that's the only thing you can get. And, if anyone who had a PS Vita understands, we all know how much proprietary memory cards are horrible. So, but that's in my locker. What's in yours, Brian?
All right. Well, my locker this week, it's vacation time, Jeff. It is vacation. I'm super excited. We were debating on whether we wanted to travel, go down to Austin, but we're not going to. We decided we're going to stay home. And this is the last week before school starts back up, and we want to take our girls and we want to go to the zoo. We're going to take them. We might not go to the zoo because it's freaking hot as balls outside, and I don't want to pay for money and only be there for 30 minutes. So we're going to figure out some things to do with the girls. We're going to take them back to school shopping, and just kind of have a nice, relaxing week of going out and doing things, spending family time together. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to playing a lot of my baseball franchise at MLB The Show. Playing with you, syncing up our freaking PlayStations, and playing some MLB The Show. I ordered me a new computer, Jeff, as you know. I got the new Mac Mini, and look, I'm not an Apple guy. I hate Apple. I'm Android all the way. I do not like Apple. I will not buy an Apple. iPhone won't do it. But my buddy Jeff, who is also on this podcast, talked me into getting the Mac Mini because that's kind of the way things are going, the futuristic chips that they got and everything else going into it. And I got to say, I love this computer. It's super fast. It's does everything I needed to do and more, and it's just fantastic. So I actually got me a better keyboard coming in this week, and just gonna get used to using it. I need a webcam. Eventually, me and Jeff will have webcams, and we will get back on YouTube and add in a YouTube part of this, and maybe do some live streaming, and we'll figure all that out later down the road. So. But that's what I've been up to. It's been hectic at work the last couple weeks. But it's we're next week is they're demanding we wear masks at work again. So we're going back with that because COVID and all that uproar, and will the schools force our kids to wear masks again? And it's just all up in the air with that, which I hope they don't. But so. Got a lot going on, man. School starts, like I said, not this coming week, but the week after. So that's going to be a different routine every day for the wife and kids and us. So, but yeah, that's what's in my locker, man.
Yeah, I think when we go back to video, I think we might live streaming is tricky.
Yeah, I don't think we'll live stream. I said that. I was like,
the only problem
might not.
The only problem with live streaming is OBS does these weird things unless you're on a PC, I guess. And the problem that you run on with OBS is that adding new people, you have to do it through like Discord or some odd Skype, which I don't want to use.
No.
And so Riverside FM, they're doing something odd. They're doing some kind of 2.0 rollout. I don't know what that is. I've looked it up. Nobody's talking about it. No, there's no hints at anything or anything. I want to go to their Reddit and see what people are saying on their Reddit. That would be interesting topic conversation to see what people are talking about. Maybe people have heard something or not. I don't know. But it to me, I look at it like Riverside FM is more and more and more and more leaning into being able to live stream to Twitch or like because right now you could do the overlays and stuff, but the problem is like you like the graphics around the video. But we would have to do that in post edit after we're done with the podcast. As opposed to live.
Yeah.
If we just do it live, it's just two little boxes of squares and that's it. And OBS would allow us to do that, but it's so weird to get Brian in because we're not podcasting from the same place. We're hundreds of miles away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just, I hope that Riverside's doing that, but if not, the video comes, we'll actually be doing that as a video uploaded as opposed to live yet.
Right.
Hopefully Riverside does something really cool with that. It seems like they're becoming more and more, they're updating all the time. They're adding all these really fun and interesting and cool new features. So I'm excited to see what 2.0 of Riverside FM looks like. And all the new bells and whistles they can add. So that'll be cool and fun. But yeah, other than that, when video comes, I think we're just going to probably just initially start out just with videos uploaded of the podcast with the graphic.
Right.
And then if we figure out to do the live stream at some point, we can.
Now, my question about YouTube is we already have a YouTube channel. We haven't put too much on it. Will we need to start a whole new YouTube channel or can I go in there and change the name on it?
I don't know yet. We'll figure that out. Yeah, don't worry about it. Anybody just, we figured things out and trying to get things in order. But yeah, in terms of YouTube, we will have a channel, whether it be a new channel or the existing one. And it'll basically just be a video version of this. It'll have the graphic on there and our new logo and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, like I'm excited that we're the changes we're making. Excited to have the site up, and yeah, I'm excited to get this going. The only other thing is, I am currently on the verge of looking for a new job. I'm still at the place I'm at. I am full time there, but I'm seeing more and more opportunities popping up for what I do. So if I find opportunity, I'm going to try to take it. And if my hours change, that might change the actual way we get the podcast out. We may have to do it maybe on the weekend or something. We'll figure that out. But because the way my job is now, I get off at 2:30. So I don't know if I started another job, if I get off at 5 or not. But like today, we did start a lot later. So, but yeah, we'll figure that out. But I'm just throwing it out there. I am actively looking for another job with what I do. And if it might be the way my hours are, I'm going to obviously have weekends off, but I have to figure out if I'm going to be off at 2:30 or not. So.
Gotcha. No worries. We'll figure all that out.
But
go from there.
Yep.
And
but it's an exciting time. New name, new face, new artwork, all this stuff. I'm excited to get this going. I know there's some interesting things I want to try to do for the intro to the podcast. I want to contact some of the voice people that we've seen. I think there's that one guy. See what he says, what he can do.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I want to see if he can quote it too. I want to see if I could write up the script and see if he can quote it and see what he could quote it at, and maybe we could split it or something. But yeah, I want to do something like that. I know I keep looking at different advertising things and seeing what we can do there too, and just grow it, man. This will be crazy if this grows. So that's the whole point of this whole changing of stuff and focusing it and fine tuning it and getting it more, focused. That's the whole point. But yeah.
That is exactly right. Would love to grow the show.
Follow
us and like us and share us and
share
it, whatever.
Review it. Review it. Dang it.
Email
Go
us.
on Apple.
So right now the emails, we've changed the email for this show. For the new show, the email is Outspoken Sporcast @gmail.com. That's going to be the new email. If you have any questions, you can definitely email us. Look up for our new socials tomorrow. I'm going to change the social media probably tomorrow when I have more time to do so. And we'll just go from there and we'll figure it out if we got to create new ones or not. So we'll just figure all that out. But we're excited about the name change. We're excited about the changes to come into the podcast. And another reason we talked about changing the name is I wanted to put Jeff into the name as well, because Jeff does a lot of work for this podcast. And so that's another reason as well that we wanted to do it. Put that name change out there. So, yeah, but we're super excited.
Yeah, this is fun. This is just fun and it's exciting and interesting. And, yeah, I'm glad to be part of it. I'm glad to be able to have people listen to us, and, have, get to see us just banter around sports talk for an hour or so a week.
Yep. I agree, man. So we're going to get into some more NFL coming up as that starts. Like next week, we'll probably do our NFL breakdown and just go over who we think is going to win the division and go from there. But until then, guys, I hope you enjoy your week. I'm going to enjoy my vacation. Jeff, y'all get to feeling better in Colorado.
Yeah, I'm feeling better. It's just nasally. And my wife's actually feeling a lot better than I am, but she was taking her meds the way she was supposed to anyway. I was like, oh yeah, I remembered. I have to go take Mucinex, so she's on it every 4 hours, but me, I'm like, I don't know. Is it 4 hours yet? And it's been a day. So
It's been 4 years.
Oh.
All right, buddy.
Oh man. All right. Well, take care, everybody.
Y'all take care.